Remember they're changing my voice? Who thinks this is vague here? I'll put over here, right, to remind you again, the Lord detests those whose hearts are perverse, but he delights in those whose ways are blameless. The righteous detest the dishonest, the wicked detest the upright. And what does David say in Psalm 119:58? He says, I look on the faithless with loathing, for they do not obey your word. Seeing these chariots makes me sick at heart, because they care nothing for your word. The Lord detests the way of the wicked, but he loves those who pursue righteousness. So if a female is of God, she's not going to live her life in a way that's wicked. She's not going to allow for that mistake to be made. She'll scramble to make it clear that she's living an exemplary life. You know, white supremacy, not just liberal, culture, all the cultures outside the divine order. Okay, we'll get to this momentarily. So look over here. I say, live and die for moral precision, no selling out, be honest. You have shallow Hal, right? He's shallow. You have these guys over here, fraternity guys, right? They're goofy. Jackass, this movie series, I believe it is, TV series, one of the two. At some point, it was a movie series or TV series. And these guys, look at their body shaped, look at their behavior. Look at this over here, Lucifer. He's acting like he's in a divine body shape, right? Idol, statue, false idol, made of stone, made of wood. The things, they shape it a certain way. Craftsman shapes it, right? Here you have, different Freemasons. They look like they're up to no good, right? Some people say, oh, it's harmless, but what they're doing is helping their offspring control, sexual behavior. It doesn't take a genius to see that when you affect culture behind the scenes in a secret society, you're affecting the romantic process, the reproductive process, and it costs me dearly. All these females here, for example, wouldn't dream of dating me. They'd rather date pretty much every other guy in this picture, even though they're all idolaters and scum, where I'm the one persecuted for righteousness' sake. Okay, and God Almighty detests the way of the wicked, and he detests those whose hearts are perverse. So excuse the angles, I had to kind of reach over here. So I proved my point to a T. So already, unless you're insane, delusion is ignoring the overwhelming amount of evidence. You know that there's nobody like me. Okay, so when we look at it, compare Martin Luther King to your local pastor or Joel Osteen or Pat Robertson or any of these guys. Okay, when I have that way about me that says my morality goes beyond other people, who should women look to first? But they've convinced them to be witches. They convinced them to be lingerie models and sluts, not necessarily the women in this picture, not necessarily not. Okay, they convinced them to be some kind of gold digger. They convinced them to be some kind of stupid model, not necessarily the women in this picture, not necessarily not. They convinced them to be nerds, which are defined as foolish and contemptible. They convinced them to be some kind of racist women, some kind of sex workers, right? This chick right here, this black chick's a stripper. That white chick is some kind of Satanist, occultist, rock and roll, heavy metal, whatever the fuck that is. You get what I'm saying?